Every day, smart leaders like you wake up to a world that's supposed to be open, free, and full of opportunity, but feels more like a trap. You see it clearly. The rules never really play in your favor. The moment you try to level up, the system clamps down tighter. Private equity insiders, they know the game inside out. They move fast, think faster, and always have a way to turn uncertainty into control. They have the power, the connections, the inside angles you don't. And that's the problem. Because even when you have ambition, vision, and drive, the moment you step into their world, you're playing by their rules, even if you don't see it at first. Feel it? That frustration when every deal, every negotiation, every conversation seems rigged just enough to keep you in your place? It's like a shadow looming over every move you make, like they have a secret playbook. They're not just investing money, they're investing influence, strategy, emotion, and a masterclass in control. And that's why most people never win. Because they think private equity means throwing money around and hoping for the best. But insiders? They think in layers you couldn't even imagine. Here's a brutal truth. You're not just fighting for profits, you're fighting for freedom. The freedom to run your business on your terms, to protect your legacy, to grow without being suffocated by demands you can't meet. Yet every step, every promise from the experts, often feels like chains masquerading as opportunity. The expert advice is often a mask for control. They want to own your time, your decisions, your future. And unless you learn the game from the inside, they own you. So how do you break free from this trap? The answer isn't a secret formula or a magic trick. It's a mindset shift so powerful it feels like breaking out of a cage you didn't even know you were in. First, stop thinking of private equity insiders as opponents to beat in a poker game. They aren't just players. They are architects of the entire table. They build the cards, shuffle the deck, and decide who sits down. Winning requires not just skill but understanding how the table was built in the first place. It's time to see beyond the illusions. The flashy deals, the big promises, the endless jargon, it's all a show designed to create comfort while stripping away control. The insiders don't just want your business, they want your predictability, your compliance, your slow surrender masked in profit sharing. And that's where most fall, trusting comfort over courage. But here's where it gets good. Because you don't have to play their way. You can outsmart them, outthink them, and outmaneuver them. The strongest weapon? Radical clarity about what you want, and ruthless focus on how you get it. Not what the system says is possible, but what you know deep inside is your path to freedom. This means refusing to accept industry standards or market truths that are just prison bars disguised as guidance. It means right now making a decision. Will you be a pawn or a player? Unlocking that power starts with building your own system of checks, balances, and connections, not just relying on the usual advisors, but creating a network with those who think differently, challenge differently, and break rules differently. The insiders hate this because it takes control from their hands and puts it into yours. When you surround yourself with minds that question everything, challenge every assumption, and push every limit, you regain what was lost: power through knowledge and alliance. Here's a little-known fact. Private equity insiders fear the rare player who understands their psychology more than their spreadsheets. They fear the founder or investor who refuses to be trapped by fancy structures or tricky terms because they see the underlying dynamics clearly. They fear those who prioritize sovereignty over safety and long-term vision over short-term gains. And that's exactly the energy you need. Now, getting there isn't about rushing or overwhelming yourself. It's about patience and precision. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The insiders build empires by playing the long game, so you have to master it too. That means mastering your own psychology. Mastering how to stay calm when the pressure is sky high, how to say no when everyone else says yes, how to dig deep into data and people's motives, not just the surface numbers. And most importantly, learning to detach from the noise, the fear, and the fake urgency designed to break your focus. Imagine walking into a room where everyone expects you to be just another eager participant in their deal. But instead, you move like a shadow, quiet, calculated, full of surprise. You know your worth, and you refuse to sell it cheaply. Every question you ask disarms them. Every hesitation you resist adds pressure on their side. Every clear boundary you set builds your fortress. Eventually, they realize you're not just any opponent. You're an anomaly. And they hate anomalies. But don't underestimate the emotional fight here. It's draining to constantly stare into a system that feels designed to break you down. It's exhausting when every day feels like a battle against invisible forces. That's why true freedom comes only after you learn to embrace discomfort and uncertainty without losing your fire. And let's be real, many leaders wind up stuck not because they lack talent or resources. They get stuck because they play by the handbook everyone else wrote for them. They trust systems built on convenience, on mediocrity, on false promises of equality that reward the average and punish the exceptional. Private equity insiders thrive on that average. They thrive because the rebel, the disruptor, the authentic leader just isn't loud enough or doesn't have the right network. So here's the game changer. Create your own network, not a broad community filled with noise and distractions. A sharp, focused group of rare people who think like you, question like you, and dream like you, but also back it up with action. When you combine your individual power with those few sparks, it burns down the walls no insider can hold. This is not about finding comfortable allies. It's about forging bonds that challenge, upgrade, and transform you while sending clear signals to the system that you're not just another player. You're the future they didn't see coming. Every conversation with this group becomes a masterclass in strategic thinking. Every connection is a new lever to pull. And suddenly, the insider's so-called secret advantage starts to look like old tricks against a new breed who refuses to be played. And beyond strategy, it's about reclaiming your identity. You're not a product or a portfolio asset. You're a leader with a purpose that can't be boxed in or sold out. The system wants to simplify you, to make you predictable, to fit you into neat categories they control. But real power lives beyond those borders, in the messy, raw, and unfiltered space of true autonomy. Imagine the relief of shaking off those invisible chains. Imagine leading not just companies, but movements that don't just chase profits, but define new ways to create value, new ways to connect, and new ways to lead. That's where real disruption lives. That's where you find freedom beyond the illusion. You're standing at a crossroads where most get lost chasing easy answers, while you've got the chance to choose a path few dare walk. You can play safe, hand over control, and stay a step behind. Or you can burn the old maps, reject false comforts, and build your own rules for a new reality. Whatever happens, know this. The power to outsmart private equity insiders isn't hidden in a deal or a spreadsheet. It's inside the mindset that refuses to bow, the network that refuses to break, and the vision that refuses to settle. Every second you hesitate, they deepen their grip. Every move you make with clarity breaks chains. The difference between sinking and rising isn't luck or money. It's the relentless refusal to be ordinary, to be the edge when everyone else clings to the center. This isn't a game for the faint-hearted, it's a call to sovereignty. To question, to transform, to rise. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop playing by their rules? To get inside their heads and rewrite the game? To build a system where power is yours to wield, not borrowed or leased? If so, the path is yours to take. No one promised it would be easy. But no one promised freedom was for the comfortable either. Step forward or step back, because the insiders are waiting. But you're the unknown variable they're scared of, the one who could change everything. And that's the secret weapon nobody else will tell you about.